Well, let's jump into it, bro. There's been a lot of buzz with the Canes this all season, man. Probably, probably one like no other. Mario has, I would say, Mario, who's always been, in my opinion, the master of narratives when it comes to narratives and certain things like that. But you guys, did your thing in the transfer portal. Of course, Cam Ward is the big addition, the quarterback transferring from Washington State. A lot of preseason buzz and things like that. Gamer, elected to stay in school for another year instead of going to the NFL draft. Preseason ACC player of the year, that type of deal. And Cam Ward wasn't the only guys you brought in from. It's funny too how y'all now everybody want to y'all transfer portal cool now, huh? We rocking with it now.
It's cool when they do it.
Right.
It's a problem when we do it. You know how that goes. You know how that goes, man. Yeah, I mean, and that's the buzz. It's been created before us. That's the crazy part. Like you got to hear. I hear so much. Y'all boys and this, that, and that. I said, listen, Jack. I don't control their piece of this media, right?
A lot of y'all wanted to actually not be that way. A lot of Canes fans
We
wanted to be.
scared. PTSD.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. We're afraid of the hype, right? Like we seen the story before. It's been a while, but like you said, this kind of the highest it's been because the hype is bigger than just media. We've been,
Right.
Vegas put us at 9.5. They ain't got, they don't really do no narratives. They just looking at the roster and saying, with that roster, we got y'all at about 9.5. And honestly, they still got some shadow of doubt because the roster and the schedule should say
11-1.
you're probably, I'm about to say should be one more game. I would say just the roster alone will put us at 10.5. But they got some skepticism too. They worried a little bit about Mario and will he actually pull it off? You saw it in the coaches poll, right? The coaches put us at 19. And that's basically they saying, yeah, you got the squad, but what you gonna do?
You got to see it first, right?
Yeah, right. And I get that.
Been, I guess the Miami narrative in years past has always been talent, right? The issue has been Miami losing to Miami, Miami not getting out of Miami's way and losing to lesser teams. I mean, it's always a talent. I guess what I'm trying to say is there's probably about 3 teams per schedule, depending on the schedule, that probably may have more talent than Miami on an annual basis. But I guess the losses don't add up. I will say, from a talent standpoint, I think this team has more talent than years past from a preseason standpoint. So I guess from the hype narrative, you kind of see it because I mean, coaching can be an issue. If you have another talent, you can overcompensate, for coaching. But we'll see. I do think the talent is there for sure this year, but we just got to wait. I guess actually see it and see if the coaching there, not just the coaching, just the continuity, just everything being put together.
Got to come together. It's always, I saw, and it's been like my favorite little quote to go back to. Kirby Smart said when he was talking about Oregon, he said they're not going to admit it, but we just got better players, and better players outdoes bad coaching 9 times out of 10 because you ain't going to be in these situations when you got guys that just wreck plays that just make stuff happen. Like everybody go to the Georgia Tech game. Fairly so. He blew it. Shouldn't have never happened. But we also shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with. You got Tyler Van Dyke on this coming out. I can't figure out where to throw the football to. And then everything gets tight and then it starts to, implode, right? That's what we got to overcome. So this year it'll be about, you say, he's the master of creating narratives. And I think the key to this team is going to be controlling the narrative. Like, don't get too high or too low. You really got to keep the noise blocked out because everybody hyping you. Everybody's absolutely right. All we hearing is about how great we gonna be. Every media outlet. This is gonna be a great year for Miami. Blah blah blah. If we go out and beat Florida like I anticipate, and that's not a fan perspective. I'm just looking at football perspective. I think we beat those guys, right? That ain't your season. You can't be like, oh well, we won it. It's a Super Bowl. It's over with. That's our bitter rival in the game. Or under some crazy circumstances where we happen to drop that game, it's also not your season, and that's been an issue. So we got to see if Mario brought in the culture change we need to where it's a win or a loss does not tell the entire season. And that's been the problem.
No, I agree. That's been the problem with you guys. It's a certain game. I finished Georgia Tech last year. That kind of derailed the season to what it was. You guys are riding pretty high. We got Roll Nola again, master of narratives, loser of games.
Florida State, your brothers, your team, your heartbeat. We some dogs. We ain't no puppies.
You
But
gotta give me some drops.
yeah, we gotta get some drops.
I need
We gotta get some Ed Reed. I'm a hurting
I need
dog.
to dominate something. I'll send them to you.
We gotta get some Ed Reed. I'm a hurting dog. We gotta get some Kellen Williams. I'm a fucking soldier. One of the
real shit.
But no, I do agree as far as what the fuck was this talking about?
Just how in the past we've had that
Yeah,
that
it's that
hangover from wins or losses.
I agree. The first game of the season, though it is a big and important one, and I think it's an important one for narratives as well because you can control it throughout the season. If you get out to a strong start to beat Florida, or if you lose to Florida, it's going to be noise. But at the same damn time, it's the first game of the season. If you guys lose to Florida and go out and go 10-2 because you're not being Florida State, right? So if you guys lose,
I knew you were gonna say that. That's fine.
Go out and go 10-2. If you guys go 10-2, you're in ACC championship.
Yeah, I'm about to say you still right there, right?
You still got all your goals in place to win the conference, get a lock, and if you don't win the conference, you still could get, because it's 12 teams, you still get an at-large bid too. So I do agree, winning or losing, it doesn't make your season. You can't say, hell, we beat Florida, let's lay down, because you go to South Florida in a couple weeks after that, and then Virginia Tech, that type of deal. So
yeah.
you still got to play the rest of the schedule.
There's nothing on that schedule that should be scary for us at all outside of Florida State and Florida. I'm not. I mean, because it's a home game, first game of the season. I mean, I see some of these score predictions.
I know we'll talk about it once the game get closer.
Yeah.
Only concern, first game of the season, that shit's gonna be rocking. Like,
yeah, and that's gonna be their job to shut them up. Because they go home too. They talk about us, but I've seen that stadium emptied out. I see Kentucky do them people like that. So you let Miami get up on it, it's really finna get quiet in there because it's gonna be a lot of additional hostility in the stands, and it's not Miami fans versus Florida fans ain't gonna be the same as Florida versus Kentucky fans. So they're gonna want to get up out of there if you can get them quiet early. And I've seen some of the scores, but ain't no way you looking at that O-line and they issues there. They start running back down, real check down type quarterback. Ain't no way you think them people beating us by no 20 points. You just don't. You don't believe that. You trying to ruffle me, but you don't believe that shit. Ain't no way in hell.
No, that's not happening. I don't think either team is going to beat each other to that degree. The reason I say because I think the Swamp is going to be on another damn level, and them guys typically play up to the Swamp. One, because it's going to be the first game of the season, and two, is Miami, right? Like, you guys don't play often, so it's going to be an extra buzz for that game. But it's going to be interesting to see because hell, that's a must win for them too. Because if they lose to you guys,
it's a rough ride after that, Jack. They needed, in my opinion, more than we needed. Because, like you said, we still could clean up the rest of the season. Let's say it go your way, and we drop one more. All right, we 10-2. That's probably gonna put us. Then we'll be, one ACC loss. Probably gonna put us in the championship game for a rematch.
Yeah.
Then again, like you said, everything's still ahead of you. So that's why I gotta see it. But this is probably the most optimistic I've been heading into the season.